Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with a unique Russian movie explanation. Film is about a beautiful young wife who start a passionate relationship with old bank manager because of his husband's debt. So without wasting time, let's begin. In the beginning of the film, we are introduced with Nina, a beautiful and young woman who is paying for the products she purchased. As it adds up to 271 ruble, she returns one of the product. As she walks back to home, a car passes by in speed and splashes dirty water on her dress. She becomes angry. The man is Sergey, who is a bank manager. He apologizes, but she yells at him and goes away. At home, her husband Alexander asks her if she is angry. She replies with a smile that she is fine. Alexander receives a letter from the bank. He is indebted to a bank and not able to pay the interest. He shouts at Nina as she forgot to notify about the due date. As she cries, Alexander sought forgiveness. He tries to make her happy and starts doing romance. During the act, she asks him from where he will get the money, but he tells her not to worry and concentrate on pleasure. Here we see Sergey sitting in with his family. Seems like he is not happy with his wife at all. He asks her for a favor, but she becomes angry in return. She is also not happy that he works all the time and hardly give her time. Nina is the student of Alexander and his wife too. Her friend have a crush on him, but Nina is not that impressed. On the way back home, he explains to Nina that he wrote a letter, which she should take to the bank. He asks her to impress the bank manager a little bit so he can give them some more time. She goes to the bank and meet the staff. They are angry at her husband as he sent her in place of him. As she approached the manager, she realized he is the same man who made her dress dirty. She wanted to leave, but he stops her as she is indebted to the bank. He takes her along to play casino with his friend. She places a bet for him and he wins, but second time she loses all the money again. Next, she tries another game and feels happy after a long time. Here Sergey's friend tells him to invite her for dinner and enjoy the life with her as she is beautiful. He considers his advice. At the dinner table, she feels very happy. She likes his lifestyle. She tells him about the letter she received from his bank. He asks her to spend a night with him, which offends her badly. As she was leaving, he says he will wait for her call as he really likes her. At home, she tells Alexander that the manager offered her 7,000 rubles, but she rejected. Alexander becomes angry as they need money badly. She says he wanted to sleep with her. Alexander says, "You are idiot. Why will he sleep with you? You should have accepted it." Here Nina tells everything to her friend Cindy. She says Alexander works very hard and she feels bad for him. Here Sergey is having difficulty reading a document as it is written in Chinese and he wants a translator. His friend tells him Nina knows Chinese and we should hire her. He looks at the casino footage and finds out that Nina was looking at him the whole time. He feels she is a bit impressed already. Next morning, they again receives a letter from the bank. Alexander is angry as Nina could save all this when she was in the bank. She tells him she has the manager's number. He asks her to call him, but she says she don't want to call him. In the library, she finds out that it is sponsored by Sergey only. She thinks hard and finally decides to call him. He asks her to meet the next day. Next morning, she is feeling weird as she knows what will happen next. She meets Sergey. He talks a little and made her comfortable. Then he calls the bank and asks them to give them 3 months' time for the loan. She becomes even more happy. Sergey then takes her for lunch. Here Nina behaves badly and do not want to eat anything. Sergey says, "I did what you wanted and I am not asking anything in return. I am leaving, but it will not affect the loan decision." Finally, she accepts him and both of them goes to room to spend some quality time together. Strange enough, Nina felt the love first time in her life, which she was looking for in her husband. At home, Alexander tells her that the bank extended the loan period. She is not surprised at all, as she is the reason for it. Here Sergey's wife tells him he is smelling like a woman's perfume. She gives him bad name. He tells her he will be out for a business trip the next day. Sergey books the same hotel Hewitt for a week. He calls Nina to visit him, but she denies. He says he is staying there anyway. She can come if she changes her mind. While studying, she thinks about Sergey. Cindy calls her to visit a party with her, but she says no. Her husband tells her she should go and enjoy. She again goes to the same hotel. Here Sergey is waiting for her eagerly and she arrives. They go to the same suit and spend some time together. Sergey and Nina are too happy, but she is always hesitating. Sergey asks her to visit every Tuesday at 4 p.m. as it will be easy for them. She goes away without saying anything. Tuesday morning, as Sergey is on his way to hotel, he receives a call that his son is ill. He returns home to attend his son. Here Nina goes to hotel and finds out Sergey is not there. Now she is anxious and unhappy without meeting Sergey. On her birthday, she behaves badly. She is counting days for the next Tuesday. Alexander takes her for a health checkup, where doctor tells him she is perfectly fine. This is just because of her bad mood. At night, Alexander tries to make her happy and makes her remember the past. But she is again in bad mood. As he tries to come closer, she yells at him that she slept with someone else. Alexander loses his cool and shouts at her. He throws her out of the house at night. She calls Alexander late at night as she has no place to stay. Sergey goes to her and promises her that he will buy her an apartment to stay. Nina is happy to have the luxurious apartment in the middle of the city. Here Alexander is drinking day and night. He is getting violent as well, which makes the neighbor suspect that something is wrong. Nina calls Sergey and wants to meet him all the time, but he is married. His wife is suspecting him that he is having an affair. He is a gentleman and cannot lie on her face. Here Nina asks questions about his life. She wants to know what role she is playing in his life. He tells her she is very important for him, that's it. At night Alexander brings Cindy home, and he is drunk like always. She feels his sadness and accompany him as a friend. Next morning Nina goes to bank and asks Sergey if they can watch a movie together. She says she came to see him and listen to his voice as she miss him badly. She is all alone in the house and spending her life like that. Next morning Alexander asks her if they can talk somewhere. She asks him what's the matter. He says students laugh in the class that she is her wife. He wants her to go away from his life completely. Here Sergey is watching football with family and friends while Nina calls him. He does not pick up the phone. Then she calls him on the landline. Sergey's wife picks up the phone, which makes him uneasy. In the evening Alexander visits her and asks her to leave Sergey as he is not good for her. She tells him she is in love with him. Then he gets offended and asks, "Didn't you love me?" He comes closer and forces her. At midnight she calls Sergey and requests him to come. She tells him everything and she cannot live like that anymore. She also informs him that she is pregnant. Sergey tells her he will stay with his family. He can provide her with money, but he will not leave his wife. As he comes back home, he finds his wife depressed. She knows the whole story but does not complain about anything. He feels very bad about it. At night he sends some men to beat Alexander. In the morning we see Cindy and Alexander living together. Cindy is happy as she was already in love with him. 1 year passed. We see Nina with her son. Sergey is also there with them. He asks her to attend a party together in evening. Alexander is also invited. Nina notices him. She goes to talk to him. He talks to her politely. She also calls Sergey and introduces them properly. Sergey tells her he is leaving. She should come by the night. Alexander asks her if they can spend private time together. She agrees and goes to a hotel with him. Here Sergey is sitting with his family, feeling emotional and loved by his wife. Alexander and Nina spends time, then she decides to go back and tells him he can meet her like that. Movie ends here. I hope you liked it. Please like and comment below. We will see you soon with another explanation. Take care.